Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Network Merchandise Shop. Pick up your logo merchandise by heading over to abvnetwork.com, clicking on Shop, and start filling your basket today. We are also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for something for yourself, a customized gift, or logoed items for your business gift shop, the Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. That's the number 2 in the Bar to Go. Don't forget our friends at Neely Family Distillery now ship their unique distilled spirits directly to you. To order yours, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink! Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we discuss whether or not any place could be a force in bourbon tourism outside of Kentucky. My name is McNew. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Jim and Heidi Posnot, Bill Collin, Lenny Eckstein, and Wes Harden.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Hey, everyone.
Hello.
So we'll get to that after the break. And specifically what I'm looking for is a place where you can coordinate a whole week's worth of vacation. You can easily do that in Kentucky. I mean, you can spend a week there and not get to everything. But is there another place like that? Is there, I know that there's plenty of bourbon tourism out there outside of Kentucky, but you're talking about individual distilleries. I'm talking about enough activity to really get bourbon fans there. So we'll get to that after the break. For right now, McNew said there's something you want to talk about. What is that?
Okay, so we are talking about tourism, and I think that brings in restaurants and foods.
Yes, definitely.
Is there a restaurant or a local delicacy to your areas that people go crazy over, that they're just like, you have to eat here, it's the best thing ever? But you bring somebody from out of town and they're just like, what the hell is this? Like, why are you so obsessed with it? Like, yeah, do you have that? Because we have that in Indiana, and I will tell you later, but
we got tons of those things. We got tons
what
of
is
those
it in
things.
your
Our thin crust pizza.
Like, nobody else gets.
Your
thin crust pizza.
Your deep fried ravioli, Missouri.
Deep fried ravioli, yeah.
Looking at you.
Yeah. So our gooey butter cake. People,
that was good though. I love that.
It just depends.
I love that.
St. Louis had frozen custard. St. Louis has a lot of things.
You do have a lot. You've listed like 4 or 5 good ones.
Pork steaks are a St. Louis thing.
St. Louis thing, yeah.
Which
I don't think most people eat those.
Like when I first moved here, everybody's like, "Oh, you got to go to Emo's. You got to go to Emo's," and I hate Emo's.
Yeah, I think most people don't grow up here.
I don't like the cheese. It's like plastic melted lava on the pizza, and you burn your mouth, and it's just gross. It's not good.
What is this restaurant? A cheese?
It's a thin crust pizza. It's like paper thin crust pizza.
And they use
Provel cheese.
Yeah, it's just not right.
The other St. Louis thing that is spread across most of the country now is crab rangoon started in St. Louis.
Yeah,
no kidding.
It did.
Crab rangoon started in St. Louis.
Crab rangoons, and
we had another
something new every day.
Another thing that started here, the ice cream cone that started here. Iced tea started in St. Louis.
No, you're just listing things.
That's all St. Louis. Fact check me.
Yeah, I think some Southerners are going to fight Steve here because they're like, no, we had iced tea. Iced tea is a Southern thing. St. Louis.
Nope, that's a St. Louis thing. That's a St. Louis thing. What's that?
It was like it came out of Mesopotamia, I'm pretty sure, not St. Louis.
Iced tea? Oh, yeah. Yeah, Mesopotamians were they were putting ice in their tea.
I feel like St. Louis likes to claim things that aren't theirs sometimes. Like,
I don't think so.
St. Louis, check yourself on the iced tea.
In Louisville, and Wes and I probably have a few we can name, but in Louisville, I was actually going to say the hot brown.
Hot brown.
I'm not a local that makes a big deal out of it. Some locals do, and they say you have to come to this restaurant and try their hot brown. And you take us there, and it shows up on their plate, and their first reaction is, "What am I looking at?" And I am expected to eat all of this.
It does not look good, to be honest.
Even the best ones don't look good. Yeah.
No.
So my answer would be for my town that we try to peddle off people, and they're often confused and usually disappointed, is the hot brown.
The hot brown. Okay.
Fair.
Wes, what do you think of old?
I was going to say the hot brown, but you took that one.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I'm going to go to a secondary one, which is a little more off the beaten path. There's a local, I guess it's a local fast food or takeout chain called Indies, Indies.
People go crazy for it.
And it's chicken, potato wedges, wings. It's good, but like there's people that come to town and like order a bunch of shit to take home and warm up 2 days later. It's like it's chicken wings. Like it's not like you can get them everywhere, and so that's another weird one. And I would say probably outside of that, the mint julep, the whole derby thing. Oh my God, I gotta have a mint julep. It's one of, if not the worst bourbon mixed drinks there ever was. And so that's another one.
What about this burgoo? I don't even know what it is. One time I'm driving to go into Wild Turkey.
It's garbage too.
Burgoo Festival. And
it's garbage too.
I stopped it. It looked like it came out of a trash can.
It's slop. It's slop. You ever seen Big Brother? It's slop.
Okay. Or prison food. It'd be good prison food.
Yeah, just skip the burgoo. They highlight it. I don't know why they highlight it.
I've never had it, but the description sounds like a Kentucky version of gumbo that they put like gravy in to make it even worse. Kind of weird.
No, I felt like it was like noodles. It's like a fucked up chili or something.
No noodles.
There's no noodles. There was no noodles.
Apparently, what makes burgoo is all the things Wes said, and then it has to be made with 3 kinds of game meat, preferably. So the great one at Keeneland that people go crazy for has like turkey and cow and meat and pork, but the more exotic one,
game
well, the more exotic one.
How the fuck are you having a cow?
Now that's game meat I can get into. Look at me, I'm getting all gamey.
The more exotic ones that aren't served at Keeneland start getting out there with much more gamey meats. So.
I don't know, like if you put some alligator or something in it, I might be interested. Make it weird.
A little bit of roadkill.
But 9 times out of 10, burgoo is pretty dang disappointing.
So Lenny's a Philly guy. Of course, he eats super healthy, so we can't even go by the stuff he eats because it's terrible. But the Philly cheesesteak, right? That's got to be your local thing that people maybe not understand. I love it.
People love it.
I love it.
Everybody loves it. You can't. That's undeniable. I think.
When's the last time you ate one? When's the last Philly cheesesteak? Because I know you're a vegetarian or whatever the hell you are.
27 years ago.
27 years. Holy cow.
I'm not very good at math. That one might not be true. I'm trying to think like in Philly, man, I'm trying to think like what, you know what? Wawa sandwiches.
Yeah.
It's like
they're in New Jersey and stuff. I mean, that's not,
and it's not good, but people kind of freak out about like, it's the best thing ever. Wawa, I'd say like the meatball sandwiches at Wawa. And
that was the best thing at like 2:00 in the morning on your way home, trying to sober up.
It's the best thing if you have no taste in what like food is.
Yes.
And then like
we were just drinking Mad Dog 2020 or Bush or Boone's Farm, so it's fine.
What about in Colorado, like Rocky Mountain Oysters?
Yeah, I'll work my way there. Colorado's a tough one. Before I got to Colorado, I actually pit stopped in New Mexico for almost a year. And there was nothing all that disappointing. Oh, there probably was. Actually, there's a lot of disappointing things in New Mexico. But the thing that I think is interesting is you go there and when you order food, they always say red or green. And they're talking about
red's the one. Red's the answer.
They both have merit. That's kind of a neat thing.
Which one did you prefer? You got to pick one.
Usually green.
A son of a bitch. I knew it. Everything is opposite of me.
But then like moving up to Colorado, actually I'll detour even though I don't know.
How long is the show?
I've been going to Maine a lot. I don't really live there, but I have a house there. And there's a lot of things in Maine. Whoopie pies are disappointing. I don't know if you guys know what they are.
That sounds disappointing.
Like from the South?
I didn't know that Maine had those.
No, they stole them from Maine. Those things
they stole them from Maine.
Not very good. The lobster is good, but I feel like it's a little overrated. And where I go, Old Orchard Beach, they freak out about the pier fries, which are French fries, and they're nothing special. They talk about how you have to put vinegar on them. No shit. You put vinegar on French fries almost everywhere. That's what makes them better. So that's that. But moving back to Colorado's a tough one. Like nobody really does eat Rocky Mountain oysters. That's like a joke. That's like eating those pickled eggs out of a jar that have been there for 3 years. So the only thing I could think of in Colorado is maybe Casa Bonita. You
The
guys know
beautiful house.
what?
Yeah.
The
What is
the
that?
beautiful house.
No. You guys never saw the South Park episode with Casa Bonita? You haven't seen the headlines where the owners of South Park were in discussions about trying to buy Casa Bonita?
No.
All right.
I thought you were going to say Chitty Walk.
No.
No.
No, man. Casa Bonita. It's like this. It's not a good Mexican place. But they have like cliff divers inside, and it's like, I don't know. It's pretty
So it's an experience. You don't
You're
go
right.
for
It's not
the
a
food.
food,
You
Lenny.
go for
It's
the
not a
experience.
food, Lenny.
You're right. It does sound overrated.
I forgot where we're at even. Oh, it's just
They
going on
have
too long.
cliff
Has anybody,
divers inside.
has anybody not answered? Or are we?
I haven't.
Oh, okay. McNew.
Fine.
Look it up.
I was gonna say Pizza King. People from Indiana were obsessed with Pizza King.
They
It's
are
like
obsessed
this
with
thin
it.
crust pizza, and you get a cheese sauce to dip it in. But you also have to get the half baked breadsticks, which sounds gross, but like don't get them fully baked, get them half baked. Weird Indiana thing. Then when my sister-in-law moved up from Cincinnati, which Cincinnati has the worst food, she was like, "What the fuck is this? And why have you talked about it for so long?" I'm like, me and my brother were both like, "Fucking Pizza King is where it's at. It's like a $50 pizza." Like,
Pizza King is like Papa John's. It's crap.
Yeah.
no, it's not. It's
Yeah, it's
not.
the same thing. It's the exact same thing.
Not if you're from Indiana. You have to be an
No.
Indiana native to appreciate Pizza King.
Oh,
Fun fact: Papa John, Indiana native.
yeah,
You
there you
know
go.
what? Fuck
It's
him,
coincidence?
though.
I
He
think
is-
not.
he's-
I think not.
He's problematic. Pizza King is not.
Someday when
Rating.
and I'm not going to get into any of this, but someday if you're ever at Bourbon's Bistro and you're sitting at the bar and Mike's bartending, which usually he is going to be, ask him about Papa John because he used to hang out at Bourbon's Bistro. His stories are epic. So yeah, if you want to, and Mike will
okay.
tell you, believe me, he'll tell you. So there you go. All right. Well, guess what? It's time to drink. We just have to move on. Even if we didn't get to someone there, we have to move on.
Yeah,
And,
this went way long. This went very
what
long.
is everyone drinking? Let's start with, we're going to let Heidi go last. She's got the minis. We're going to see how this plays out for her. So Lenny, you'll go first.
I've got a bottle of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof.
Okay. Okay, that's pretty good. That's
Wow.
pretty good. So a little bit better that time. All right, Wes, you're next.
I'm going sample again. I'm going with the brother to the Bombergers, the Shanks.
The Shanks, okay.
I'm just watching Bill with this bottle.
Yeah. All right, Phil, you're ready. You're next. What do you got?
Still a little rare. Nothing fancy, just my love and beloved here.
Okay.
Ah,
Okay.
you let me down, love and beloved.
It's if you look over Facebook now, everybody's like the age statement's going away. My local liquor store guys tell me it's not. They've been saying that for 6-7 years now, and it's and believe if it is the local liquor store guy doesn't know this, so yeah, it may go away, but it's not insert information. McNew, what do you got?
I have some Russell's 10.
All right, no,
No,
not as
nothing.
good as Lenny's. Not as good as Lenny's. Jim, you're next.
I'm going to go with some still 638 we picked up on First Friday.
Oh,
We have a new leader. We have a new leader.
Machi, that was
That
good.
was good.
Jim is taking the lead. I got Old Granddad, bottled and bond. So let's see what we got here. About half full, so not much there. So Heidi, it comes down to you. It's going to either be you or Jim. What do you
This
got?
is fun.
So I was going to do my Whistle Pig Farm Stock Rye Bottle and Bond 50 mil, but I decided to go with a 375 mil of Neely Family Distillery, the Autumn Vanilla.
Ice,
So we'll see how this
baby.
goes. To what?
Just keep going.
Ooh,
Oh,
Oh,
that was better than your husband's.
yeah. I think Heidi snuck it out there at the end. How about that?
Yeah.
Some more
Heidi.
House Divided tonight. That was good,
Yeah.
though.
Well, yeah. She
well done.
humiliated
Good for you,
Jim. Cheers, gang.
They're making it.
You guys.
Cheers.
All right. We'll take a quick break. And then when we come back, talk about this isn't beating Kentucky or anything. It's just saying, can there be a thriving bourbon tourism anywhere outside of Kentucky? So we'll talk about that in just a few. Hello, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, and let's talk for a moment about our sponsors, the people that make this show happen. First up is our friends at Moonshine University. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification at their office in Louisville. The information I learned through lead instructor Colin Blake and their team there is something that I continue to draw upon frequently in my role at the ABV Network. It truly is the standard of establishing a benchmark of knowledge of the bourbon industry. From history to production to brands and people, it's all there. Check out their full listing of programs, including Executive Bourbon Steward Certification, production classes if you're considering starting a distillery, and much more at moonshineuniversity.com. I also want to talk about Neely Family Distillery. Back in May of 2018, I met Royce Neely at Limestone Branch's Craft Bourbon Festival. It ended up not only being the start of a great friendship, I started to truly learn about what makes craft whiskey so amazing. You see, I had been a bourbon drinker for over 30 years at that point, and like many people who had been drinking bourbon a long time, I was hard-coded into thinking big bourbon was where it was at and craft was on a journey to get there. Spending time with Royce and learning the things he does to make his whiskey taste better started to really get me to appreciate how things like sweet mashing, open top fermentation, pot distillation, and the grains you are using not only makes your product taste better coming off the still, but also out of the barrel as well. I still love heritage brands and they make up a bulk of my collection. But when you find a craft distiller that is truly dedicated to the craft of distilling, you are drinking some of the best whiskey out there on the market today. That's exactly what's happening at Neely Family Distillery today. Check them out on the web at neelyfamilydistillery.com, or better yet, stop by and see them at their distillery in Sparta, Kentucky. And now, back to the show.
Hey, this is Paul Russo, and you're listening to The Bourbon Daily.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we are talking about, can there be bourbon tourism outside of Kentucky?
Yes, yeah. So other than the occasional distillery tour, maybe pick up a couple along the way, but is it a bourbon destination? I don't know that there's any place outside of Kentucky at the moment, but can there be? And again, what we need to get away from is, are you saying who can beat Kentucky? No, that's never going to happen. Kentucky has way too much stuff. It's always going to be number one when it comes to this stuff, but that doesn't mean someone can't do it.
I would love for somebody to be in Kentucky and do Maker's Mark and then come to St. Louis and then wind up out at Gary's at Woodhat and do a tour out there, because really no comparison. But it's really interesting when you go to Woodhat every single time.
Yeah, well, it is. It is. Gary's managed to carve out a very interesting niche. I'll say that.
Yeah.
So I'll give him credit for that. I say, the guy we got here, Lenny, he's got some potential. There's a lot of distilleries out in Colorado. They have a trail, but here's where they're messing up. They need to have a bourbon type of trail. It can be anywhere. I'm driving on somewhere on the trail, and this is a vodka distillery. Then the next one I'm going to is a brandy distillery. Then the one after that might make some bourbon. So that's one of the things you got to kick out right now. So you got to rethink that and kick out a bunch of people. So that's going to be step one. And you got the bars and stuff. I mean, there's potential there, Lenny. I don't know that you guys are capitalizing on it yet.
Cool. I mean, I'm not sure I'm totally understanding the concept. Are you thinking like one could make a vacation that's fueled by bourbon tourism, or the bourbon tourism factor alone? Okay. Yeah. So like one of the things I think Colorado does not have going for it, in a sense, is that, and this isn't a knock on Kentucky, but when you go there, everything else, the bourbon tourism kind of eclipses everything else. I mean, not to say what else is there. I think there's a lot of really cool things to see scenery wise, and I guess there's horses.
Yes, I don't. Yeah, but is that
a
tourism thing? I don't know what I can do with the horses.
People come to tour Thoroughbred Horse Farms and go to the Kentucky Horse Park and the Horse Hall of Fame and the racetracks.
Here where I'm going with this one. So it's so eclipsed by bourbon that if you're going to Kentucky to go hang out, you can't help but to see all the rick houses along that are like dotting the skyline of sorts. But when you come to Colorado, it is eclipsed by the mountains and the scenery and the rivers and all the things that people are like, the hiking and the trails. So there's definitely enough. I mean, I think there's over 100 distilleries out here. There's enough to see, and you can connect it up and see some amazing things. But I don't know. I mean, I maybe my head's just not screwed on with this topic, but I tend to think that, well, I'm all for Colorado and people coming out here. I feel like something like Tennessee almost deserves more merit just because it could ride coattails so much more easily off of Kentucky. And they already have major things going on.
That's what I would agree with also. Like if you're going to tell me where else, the only other place that has that same kind of passion about their whiskey, I think, is Tennessee. You know, obviously started with Jack Daniels, but you got other craft distillers around there and Dickel, but then you have a lot of others, the great, whiskey bars there, the downtown area that McNew and Heidi hit, and great single barrel shops in town there. So,
and not to mention like the Great Smoky Mountains, Gatlinburg, the tourist trap that is Old Smoky and their moonshine bullshit they have going on. So
right.
I'm gonna take a more practical approach, I think. So I think it's a tough question for Lenny because he owns a distillery. And even though he's not from Colorado, that's his home now. So obviously it's a little bit of a tough question for him. What I look at it more practically. So if you look at Tennessee, at the end of the day, Jack Daniels is a huge distillery. It's super popular. But outside of that, no one in Tennessee really gives a shit about whiskey outside of Jack Daniels. Like you have every big distillery has their little clique of people that are their fans. But outside of Jack Daniels, there aren't droves of people coming to Tennessee to go to Dickel or to go to Greenbrier or to go to they may go there because they happen to be there, but Jack Daniels is way out in the boondocks. Like it's not close to anywhere else. It's like you have to want to go there to go there. I think one of the top travel destinations as far as states go, and I know there is one. There's not all the distilleries aren't in the city, but if you look at a state where there's a ton of travelers and there actually are a ton of distilleries, I think New York is in the running. There's a ton of distilleries up there. They get a ton of travel in and out, and they've started kind of marketing this Empire Rye nonsense. But that's the kind of thing it suckers people in. Everyone's looking for a gimmick. They're looking for a catchphrase. They're looking for something they can go to social media and say, I went to New York and I did the Empire Rye Trail and I got a hat with an apple on it or something. And it's just that I think New York has the ability because they have so many visitors that filter in and out of there.
Yeah. And I also think, Wes, you got to have more than just distilleries, and they've got great bourbon bars. I mean, you look at the top bourbon bars, they've probably got, 4 or 5 of them on the list if you're doing the top 25. So yeah, that's always a place you can consider as well. I agree with Wes.
Yeah. So I'm going to take what Wes said and apply it to Indiana because we just had the Indiana Rye. Steve, you went to that event, so the Indiana Rye. And that's kind of like a side project I'm working on because why does Indiana not have a whiskey trail? There are so many great distilleries in Indiana. I mean, MGP makes like most of your products that nobody wants to talk about, but they do, and they don't have to be included. But there's so many other great distilleries in Indiana.
It seems like
but one cannot tour MGP. That is not
I agree with Phil. If
Come on.
you know what, if MGP would embrace this idea, I think they could be the anchor, that the starting point. Then you flush everyone else to all the other distilleries.
They are preventing that whole process from happening.
And
you can go outside MGP and look at the pretty buildings, and then that's it.
Laws. So yeah.
Your antiquated laws aren't preventing MGP from letting people take tours there.
No, they're not. But it gets weird in Indiana. But I think if they embraced it, maybe, or even if they didn't. Indiana distillers should, come together. We have the ability to make a trail. It's like a passion project that I put on the back burner, but need to bring back up front. Like, I want that to happen. There's no reason Indiana does not have a whiskey trail. Indiana very well could.
McNew, you should start a lobby in Indiana.
Steve and I, we have some back.
It is some stuff we're working on. Yeah.
You should start a lobby and get MGP on board, and then once you have them on board, it'll be done.
Yeah, I think it would be easy actually if MGP was on board. I really do. I think
I do too.
That would pull the people in there. The bourbon fans would want to see it, and then once you're there, you start thinking, okay, well now I want to do this and this and this, and there's plenty of other great distilleries in there. But it's also close enough to Kentucky. Make Indiana your base, and then by the way, if you want to cross the river and you can go to some of
from
those.
Kentucky, just cross the river and live your best life. Like,
Yep. Go to Kentucky. Go to Kentucky's Hat, and then come to Kentucky.
Yeah,
so,
spend your
Indiana,
overnight dollars in Indiana. You know, there's a whole thing.
Yeah. Indiana has some potential, and we're making great things. And also, Hard Truth Hills. Let's talk about Nashville, Indiana, Brown County. Why are they not building cabins or tree houses? They have so much land.
Once
Build
they do
some
that,
damn tree houses. Let people stay the night. Okay, just do it.
Yeah.
Love everybody there, but please,
that would be huge too.
Okay.
If you,
Yeah, there's nothing that says lawsuit like a bunch of drunks in a tree house.
Well, cabins, treehouse, they have so much wooded area that's it's beautiful. Like they have a lot of potential on their property that I don't think they've thought about. Maybe they have, but they haven't done it.
I would drink bourbon in a treehouse with McNew.
there you go.
I would too. I would drink bourbon in a treehouse with me and Heidi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Steve and I would pick you up off the woods floor in the morning when you fell off the rail.
Exactly.
You know what? That's why you sign waivers, and then I'm my own problem.
McNew only stays in cottages that don't have rails all the way around the deck.
That's true.
I think, Wes, you usually think these things out pretty good. I think that's the four that could be in the discussion. Again, I don't think anybody's there yet, but I think Colorado, I think Tennessee, New York, and Indiana. If there was a concentrated effort and they got their shit together, they could probably get something going. Tennessee has, if you cheat and give them credit for moonshine, and especially the shit that's not real, they do have that too. I mean, that's like the most visited distillery in the world. But again, they're not actually making whiskey there.
Tennessee already has a whiskey trail too, so they're one step ahead of the game. I guess if we want to call their whiskey bourbon, that's where it gets tricky. As Tennessee, to echo what everyone else said, seems the clear choice in this. But I took a step back and looked at my map and started making pins and ribbons like I was in the beautiful mind. And I looked all over this country, and the only other place that made sense to me was also New York State, around the Finger Lakes area, up in that way, from New York City all the way up to the northern part of the state, and Syracuse, Rochester. And that, it's great climate. It's a good place to make bourbon. There's people there knowing what they're doing. So it would be my best pick outside of Tennessee for the next big spot.
Yeah, I think so.
And you could run into Como there because he's going to have nothing else to do for next year.
Oh, God.
He's free. He's free. He's going
edit that out.
Bourbon host. He's going to be fine.
I wish Missouri was in the mix, but we're just not there. We just don't have it. We got three great distilleries, but
McCormick's opening back up.
What's that?
McCormick's going to start producing again.
Yeah, you never know. Maybe we'll get there. But
Missouri's got great things going on. You have bourbon lovers, but the tourism, not there yet.
The one state that drives me insane that used to be a powerhouse that is, there's few spirits and there's a couple of distilleries, but nothing to write home about is Illinois.
Yeah.
One of the things I would think, be it Illinois or New York or any of these spots, is I think the proximity or range from distillery to distillery. And while my mind is a little skewed on if Colorado is necessarily the place to step up next behind Kentucky, I would say you're hard pressed not to hit distillery after distillery within 30 minutes drive, if not less, if not 10 minutes drive. You'd have to drive to the middle of nowhere to not hit a distillery. So that isn't it.
What I was thinking, part of what makes Kentucky work is not many people come to Kentucky for a week to vacation. Kentucky is more of a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, no matter what you're doing.
It's a weekend trip.
You're going to Churchill, you're going to Keeneland, you're going to do the Bourbon Trail or whatever, or you're going to a concert or whatever, a festival. It's a 3 to 4 day event at the max, unless you have family here. It's one of those scenarios. A place like New York, not many people travel to New York outside of New York City. But people that go to New York to the more rural vacation areas where you can get into the Finger Lakes and some of these areas, they're going for a week to 2 weeks. They're people that usually have a little more side cash to do those kind of things. Same with Colorado. I don't know many people outside of bachelor parties or some crazy something where they go to Colorado for a 3-day weekend and come back. Most people, when they go from the East Coast out west, no matter where it's at, outside of a Vegas, are going for a week or more. And if you're going with the intent of going to the New York Bourbon Trail, you're probably already wanting to go and stay a week in New York anyway, because it's cheaper than doing a 3-day weekend to begin with overall. So I think you have to factor in where people like Tennessee. Nobody goes into Tennessee. It's the same as Kentucky. Nobody goes to Tennessee to vacation for a week. They get in and out as quickly as possible.
They're either going to Nashville or
outside of the mountains. Yeah,
right.
That's because of country music, by the way.
Yeah, you do get, Kentucky, and you're probably right, Wes. Most people are 3 or 4 day vacations, but they're also, you guys are the kings of doing that 5, 6, 7 times a year. I mean, how many people do we know that don't live in Kentucky but are in Kentucky all the time? Because when we're talking about appealing to the bourbon tourism, could another state be like that? Could a Colorado be like that? Again, drawing people that are within driving distance, 2 or 3, 4 hours from surrounding Colorado to get them to come in. Is that kind of being a little bourbon mecca? And maybe, I don't know. No one's really doing that outside of Kentucky.
But also, I can go to Kentucky for 3 days and I can hit 6 or 7 distilleries.
Right.
And there's not many states that in 2 or 3 days you can hit 6 or 7 distilleries. You go, you downtown Louisville, you hit 4 distilleries in half a day.
True. But Colorado is definitely like that, and New York has got. I think I think Kentucky's actually third in terms of number of distilleries. So I think New York's number 1, Colorado's number 2 with about 100.
Yeah, you get to the discussion.
Let's talk volume.
Well,
yeah, exactly. It's all about
kicking us too far the list too fast.
Right.
No. It's the 16 large distilleries versus 30 small distilleries is the situation. So
yeah, right. But there you go. There's a little bit about bourbon tourism. I don't know that we've solved anything, but I think
what I heard was Lenny was paying for all of us to go to Colorado.
That's what I heard too.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice. Set up our own bourbon trail.
Yeah.
Not true, but what is true, and this is kind of crazy, our Distillers Guild offered up to the public, and I wasn't a fan of this, like the first 30 people that finish the Colorado Distillery Trail get like an insane amount of bottles.
Was it a bottle from every distillery on there?
Yeah.
Like
they basically get like 200 bottles or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm in. Let's do it. I got a week off.
They hit me up and like, hey, we're going to need your 4 cases of, bourbon for everyone. Like, guys, I'm not down with this. Like,
that was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Yeah. That was cool, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We helped promote that. Yeah. They turned to us. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Heidi, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram as Heller_BarrelBabe, or you can find me on Facebook as Heidi Topol Eller.
All right, Jim.
Find me on Facebook at Jim Fosnot or on Instagram at FozJim, FAZZJIM.
All right, Lenny.
You can find myself and Deerhammer Distillery on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Deerhammer, on the web at deerhammer.com, where you can also order our bourbon, whiskey, rye, all of that. And you can come visit us in beautiful Buena Vista, Colorado, where you can hit probably about 4 or 5 other distilleries within a 1-hour drive.
There you go. Phil.
I say the witty things on Twitter at Derby City Phil. I post the pretty pictures on Instagram.
Also questionable.
Derby City Phil. And I drink the delicious bourbon in my house.
Okay. You do steal most of your stuff.
I steal nothing.
Oh, well, you do. You take other people. Now you give them credit, but it's not like you're posting the pretty pictures that you've taken. You're not the
97% of the pictures I post are pictures I've taken ever since you made that snarky remark about 2 years ago.
Okay. Bill is original content. Okay.
I'm original content creator, bitch.
All right, Wes, how about you? Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at bourbon_Wes, and you can find me on Twitter at bourbonwes, one word.
All right, McNew.
I am on Instagram at McNew ABV.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. I've also got a company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out because everything that we do is out there. Previous shows, blogs, so much more, abvnetwork.com. McNew, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I'd like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. And if you like what we're doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
All right, great job today, gang. For audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye, everyone.
Cheers.
Bye.
Outro.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's chat for a moment about Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you just want to experiment on a small scale on the stove in your kitchen or try your hand at a bigger setup in the backyard, Moonshine Still Pro can help. They have different still offerings as well as accessories and even grains from Goldstone Mill to help you make whiskey on par with what you get from your favorite distillery. They can even assist with a DIY still project by supplying some of the parts you can't make yourself. Check them out at moonshinestillpro.com. At the ABV Network, we're lucky enough to have some great friends. Amongst those friends is the Goldstein family, owners of Goldstone Mill. Goldstone Mill is a full-service mill offering a variety of heritage and heirloom grains. Their unique approach of working with mills around the country allows them to offer you affordable shipping opportunities to meet the unique needs of your distillery or brewery. They will consult with you to ensure the grains you are selecting meets the unique flavor profiles you are looking for. If you are a home brewer or distiller and you're looking for the grains that your local distillery or brewery uses, Goldstone Mill is the place to look. Check them out on the web at goldstonemill.com, call them at 217-254-6613, or shoot them an email at hello@goldstonemill.com.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.